Now let's go ahead and see that how we can install Copilot for Xcode. So last video, we visited the official website, which is github.com/feature/copilot. But if you want to install Copilot for Xcode, you have to go to the GitHub repository. And it says github.com/github Copilot for Xcode, or you can simply search on Google for Copilot for Xcode. Don't worry, I will also have a link in the video. So if you go to Copilot for Xcode, there are a number of steps that you need to take. Now, first of all, here's a small animation that they're showing you that how will this actually work. They are running it in Xcode, as you can see. And the Copilot part over here is actually, just giving you suggestions, like when this person is typing person, and it's giving you suggestions like, oh, do you want to implement all of these coding keys? So this is what the Copilot does. It's a Copilot sitting next to you, giving you suggestions as you type in the code live in Xcode. Now, let's go ahead and check out that what you will need to do that. Well, it says you need macOS 12 plus, Xcode 8 plus, a GitHub Copilot subscription, and this can be free because the free account can do 2,000 completions, so that will be okay. So that will be perfectly fine. And next you need to do is Homebrew over here. Now, first let me check a couple of different things. All right, the macOS 12 plus. So if I go to About Xcode, I can see over here, like if I can go over here to more info, that I am running version number 14.4 Mac OS Sonoma. Everything looks okay over here. Now, one of the things that you have to be careful is, will this work with a non-silicon Mac? All right. So this is the important part. Now, as you can see that in the requirements over here, it's not saying that you need to have Apple Silicon Mac. And as you have already seen, that my Mac on which I'm recording is a iMac 2019, so it is not Apple Silicon Mac. All right, now if you do have Apple Silicon Mac, that's great. I have a separate laptop that I can use, but right now the requirements does not indicate that I will need Apple Silicon Mac. Now, then getting started, since we are trying to install Copilot for Xcode, the first thing that you need to do is to install the Copilot using Homebrew. Now, if you have never used Homebrew, Homebrew is simply a package manager for macOS, and you can go to brew.sh and simply copy this command, and this is going to install Homebrew for you, not Copilot for Xcode, just install Homebrew. So you can use this link to copy it, go to your terminal, paste it. Anywhere in the terminal is fine. So if I open up the terminal, now I have already installed Homebrew, so I'm not really going to run this command, but after you copy it, you can simply paste it on the terminal and run this. And that is going to install, Homebrew for you. So that will be easy way to install Homebrew. Now, once you have Homebrew installed, then you can run this command. All right. So I'm just going to copy all of this. Now, keeping in mind that I already have Homebrew installed, and most probably I already have the GitHub for Copilot also installed because I've done it previously. But I can run this command and let's see what happens. So you can see that now it is using Homebrew to install GitHub for Copilot. See that? And this will only work if you have Homebrew installed. So make sure that you install Homebrew before doing any of these things. And now it's going to go and install GitHub Copilot for Mac. And there we go. It is saying GitHub Copilot for Mac was successfully installed. So that is good indication that it is installed. The next step is you can actually even download it. So that's actually pretty good that you can even download it over here. So if you don't have Homebrew installed, you can also download it. See? The latest release. So if I go to over here to the latest release, it can download it. That's great. There we go. All right. So you have multiple ways of installing the GitHub Copilot for Mac. You can either run it from Homebrew if that is your primary the package manager, or you can simply download it. Now, if you do download it, all right, let me actually go back. We can open this file. Let me show you that what you can do. GitHub Copilot for Mac, just drag it into applications. That's the important part. So I'll say replace because I've already downloaded it before. All right. Now in this case, since I'm using the downloaded version, I didn't really have to do the Homebrew part, but Homebrew is used in a lot of different places. So it's always a good idea to have Homebrew. Now you can see that in our applications, I do have this GitHub Copilot. So let me go ahead and run this. And I'll say open. And now you can see that this accessibility access, GitHub Copilot for Xcode extension would like to control this. So a lot of these accessibility in settings you will need to approve. So I'm going to go ahead and open the system settings. And you can see that over here in our accessibility, we have GitHub Copilot for Xcode extension. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it on. And when you turn it on, you need to make sure that you enter the password for your Mac so that you can modify the settings. And if you don't do that, if you don't do GitHub Copilot for Xcode extension accessibility, turn it to on, then it's not really going to work. All right. Now let's see what else is there. Quit GitHub Copilot when Xcode app is launched, is closed, it's on. Accessibility permission. Let's go ahead and check it out. I think this is already on. This is what we did just 2 seconds ago. Now, when you run GitHub Copilot for Xcode for the first time, you will need to sign in into GitHub. All right. Now you can see that I have already been running GitHub Copilot for Xcode, so I'm already signed in. So I can just refresh it and that's fine. Let's go ahead and click over here. And no active account, log in, okay, everything looks okay over here. This is kind of like the account settings for GitHub Copilot. I don't think I want to go there, but let's see other things over here. Okay, now after you do that, so you have 2 permissions are required. Over here you can see 2 permissions, accessibility and Xcode source editor extension. All right. Now, since I've already installed the GitHub Copilot for Xcode before, so it's not really asking me for this permission, but we can try to see that where that permission is. So if you say the Xcode source extension permission needs to be enabled manually, click extension permission from the Copilot for Xcode. So let's go and open up this one. And let's see if we can find that, because sometimes extension permission, you can see that right there. Oops, here we go. Okay, so it pulls up this. And you have action, finder, sharing, Xcode code editor. Let's try to see where we have to go. Click extension permission, system, open, preferences. So it should be somewhere over here. Let's see. There we go. You see that? Xcode source editor. Select extension for Xcode source editor and then click on that. GitHub Copilot. And then done. All right. So that should be good. After granting the extension permission, please restart Xcode to ensure that the GitHub Copilot menu is available and not disabled under Xcode editor. Okay, so this means that if our Xcode, well, we don't even have Xcode running, so I guess I can just go ahead and run Xcode. And let's see if Xcode is a little bit different or not. Okay. Xcode is taking some time to run. Okay, let's see. Let's close all of these things out. There we go. And what we can do is we can just wait a little bit. We can create a new project. So the first thing you will notice is that right there on your toolbar, the GitHub Copilot icon looks nice now. It does not have a cross or X on it, so that's always good to know. Now I'm going to go ahead and create a very simple app. I'm just going to say Hello Copilot. Obviously, you can create any application that you want. We'll just put it on the desktop. All right. Okay, there we go. And let's check this out. Let's go ahead and select this to iPhone 16 Pro Max or whatever simulator we need. And one of the things that with Google Copilot for Xcode is that it is based on the suggestions are based on the context. So the context is the current file. All right. So if I go over here and type, see that? I mean, I didn't really do anything. It's just saying that, oh, you want to write this comment? Well, not really. So I'm going to say over here in a comment, write a function to detect or to determine, okay, determine a string as palindrome. All right. And this is now the context, right? A function to determine a string as palindrome. And you can see that sign over there? That's GitHub. That's GitHub Copilot now coming in. And it's telling you, oh, you want to create a function to find a palindrome, to test whether something is a palindrome or not. And this is how it is integrated into your Xcode. All right, now I can press the Option key, and you can see that if I say Option, then it is going to give me kind of like the whole thing. See that? If I press Hold, it says actually over here, I don't know if you notice, but over here it says Hold Option key for full suggestion. So I can press the Option key, and it gives me full suggestion. And then if I like it, I can press Tab, and there we go, done. See that? But it is really dependent on the context that you're working on. And the context that I was working on was I was writing a comment that was saying that write a function to determine a string as palindrome. So that is why it is, that's the context it understands. And well, it knows that, oh, I need to write a function for a palindrome, and it helped me out to write this function. Now I can change this function if I want to, but it looks fine. Now, obviously, the app that we're designing or will be designing has nothing to do with palindrome, so this may not even, be necessary. But you can see that how it actually works. All right. Now I can go ahead and write some other comment. Sometimes it's not really only about the comment. It can be about the code. The whole context can be the code. Now it's telling me write a function to determine if the number is prime or not. Okay, I guess maybe I can do that, So there we go. I can press Tab and then press Enter. And there we go. It's actually writing me that comment. And you can actually press the Tab button to go line by line. So if I go back over here, see that? Or I can just press the Option button and it will just Option to see all the code. And then I can press the Tab so that it can just complete the whole thing. Now you can see that it is writing a lot of code for us, all right, which is great. That will definitely increase your productivity. But having said that, it is extremely important that you actually understand the code. So if you are writing a function for palindrome or a prime number or anything, you need to make sure that you understand these things, the function, how does that work? Because software is not really written one time. I mean, you will have to go back and edit it. You will have to go back and update it. And if you don't understand all of this stuff that is going on for finding a prime number or whether a number is prime or not, then you are doing yourself a disservice because you're simply copy pasting code which you may not understand even a couple of hours from now. So make sure that when you are taking help from AI, you are understanding the code that you're typing. All right. If you don't understand that, then that's going to be a big problem in the future when you go back to the same code and you have to change it. All right. Now you can make the argument that, well, if I want to change it, I'll let AI change it. But again, that's the problem. The AI cannot do every single thing. Even if it changed the code and that works, you still have to understand what is going on. Especially, you will probably not be writing its palindrome and its prime numbers. You will be writing code for your business logic for the domain that you're working on. So maybe you're working in a medical industry, maybe you're working in an oil and gas industry, and if you don't understand the domain, if you don't understand, then you are going to just always be a mediocre developer. So to get to that level, to understand the business rules and what goes on in the business, how does the medical industry actually works and how does the oil and gas industry actually works, understanding the whole concepts and business rules, that is going to make you a much better developer, because along with the technical skills, you will have the business skills. You will know that, oh, this thing actually represents something in the real world which can make the company revenue. And when you have that knowledge of the domain, then you can become irreplaceable. All right. So make sure that you understand that apart from copy pasting the code, you must understand these things. All right. So this is a good start. Hopefully you have integrated GitHub for Xcode into your environment. And in the next lecture, we'll start with a small project for building an expense tracking application and see that how this GitHub for Copilot help you out.